Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. We are your hosts, Vidas Pinkevičius
and Aušra Pinkevičienė.
We've been mastering secrets of organ playing for more than 20 years and sharing them on this blog since 2011.
On this show, which we create from our home in Vilnius, Lithuania, we strive to help you grow in every area of organ playing, including practice, technique, repertoire, sight reading, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory, harmony, and many others.
Our hope is to help you become a complete musician, or what we call as total organist, a program which we have created to help you reach your dreams faster than you would do on your own.
If you are new here, we invite you to subscribe to receive free updates of this blog at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
And now let's go to the podcast for today. Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Aušra.
Let's start episode 353 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. This question was sent by Jonathan. He writes, memorizing a three-voice piece. I'm not sure how best to do this. I've been memorizing a phrase at a time, then gradually stringing them together. Any suggestions? This seems like a good idea, right?
Yes, that's how I was taught, when I was studying at school. That you need to memorize two measures and then add next two measures, and two measures it is a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
So, but really memorization is probably the hardest thing for me, and I have struggled with it for many years. But now when I'm thinking back, I think that I was just too lazy and didn't start to memorize things on time. Sort of, I always felt behind the schedule, and right before exam or concert, I would be just freaking out.
Wait, you said you were too lazy? I thought I was the lazy one.
Well, yes, back at school I was lazy too.
Wow.
Not about everything, but about memorization, yes. Somehow I always procrastinated this thing, starting to memorize pieces.
Maybe that's because nobody really told you the technique, how to do it.
No, I just was too lazy. Because if you would spend enough time with it, you wouldn't have such a struggle. Of course, there are different techniques, but you have also to know your structure of a piece, how it's put together, and all these things. But definitely there is no technique which will teach you to memorize things without putting effort into it.
Yet. Maybe later you will have photographic memory, and then you can memorize.
I think what kind of memory you have since your birth, that you have. And if you don't have, such a memory, photographic memory, you will not develop it. It's not as easy.
Remember how electronic organs sometimes have MIDI capabilities, and sometimes you can play a piece of music and record at the same time, and then push the button and the organ will play back for you. You can actually listen from the pews.
So,
maybe
what about?
In the future we will have some kind of memory card inserted in our brains.
I hope that not.
And then we don't need to memorize. Everything will be in the cloud.
But right now, if you still have to memorize some things, I would suggest for you, to analyze the piece that you are working on, and you have to memorize it. Because this is the thing that I didn't do when I was a child. And I think that's a big mistake, that nobody taught me to do this. So you need to know what form is your piece written in. You need to know the tonal structure of it. And then, of course, you need to do that memorization thing. And I would do it in phrases. Learn 2 measures, then add another 2 measures, and then another 2 measures, and repeat everything from the beginning. And I think when you actually perform it, you will have no trouble. And when playing, you really need to know in which exact spot you are at the right moment. Because sometimes when we are playing from memory, we just let things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it works sometimes, and it works well sometimes, but not always. Because suddenly, if you will think about something, you might slip and you might lose the general flow, and then you will not have idea where you are and what are you playing. Have you had such experience before with this?
Many times.
So
That's why I started improvising. So that I could play something even though I would forget what's written on the page.
yes, and I think playing from memory, I still have this nightmare time after time. That I'm back in the school and I have to play, exam, and I just don't remember a thing.
My nightmare is that I have to play an exam and I don't even know the music.
Well, I have that with organ recitals, this nightmare that I'm sitting at the organ bench and I hear that bell towers are already, ringing, and it means that I have to start my recital to play. And I look at the music rack and I don't recognize these pieces at all, or I recognize them and these are like, massive organ compositions that I have played either many years ago or haven't played at all.
Reger.
Yes, Reger and all these big long compositions.
My recent nightmare was that I had missed a piano exam of my student, and now I myself have to play that exam
Instead of him.
instead of
That's a
him.
funny dream. But I guess it wasn't funny when you dreamed about it.
No, just last night, I had a dream that I went to the school and sort of it was a meeting of piano teachers, and in the middle of that dream I understood that I'm no longer a teacher there,
Excellent.
and I told everyone.
Excellent. But in general, do you think when talking about organ music and memorization of organ music, do you think it's helpful and it's a good practice, to memorize things and to perform from memory or not? What is your opinion?
It depends on your goals. If you want to play just a few pieces perfectly, then yes. But if you want to play a lot of pieces, then it really slows down the process. It actually doesn't help with your sight reading skills, and you lose that ability to read many musical compositions fluently if you just memorize things. Uh, it's really good for blind people, for example. And I would add actually to Osha's ideas about memorization that Jonathan could try out Dupre's method how to memorize. It's not in 2-measure phrases but in sentence long excerpts.
So that's 4 measures.
4 measures, but not entirely in 4 measures. But first you repeat 10 times, 5 times looking at the score and 5 times without looking at the score one measure, just one measure. And then the same thing, the second measure, then the third measure, and the fourth measure. Basically, each measure separately. Then the second stage is to do two measure excerpts, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. Then memorize three measures, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. And then finally 1, 2, 3, 4. Entire sentence together, playing 5 times from the score, 5 times from memory. And always starting and finishing on the downbeat of the measure. And that helps to connect different fragments. And after you do that, you can take a break or continue with the next fragment of 4 measures. And the next day, maybe you start your practice with repeating previously mastered material a few times, and then learning something new again, 4 measures at a time. It's very systematic. I've done this before, and it then helps me retain this music in my memory for a long time.
For how long?
For a month, and then after a month I have to repeat the process a little bit to refresh.
Well, so it seems that it's much harder, to keep your repertoire alive in that way if you memorize everything. Just think how much things you would have to repeat.
I guess this is for people who either have extremely good memory, phenomenal memory, or who don't play a lot of music. Maybe they have 2-3 hours total of repertoire and that's it. And they do in cycles, refreshing their memory, and once they have 3 hours they're set and tour the world. That could be done, but it's not my goal. I mean, it's not interesting to me just to have that kind of music and not to learn anything else. But because it definitely requires
A lot of time.
And refreshing of memory of old memorized pieces. But I would advise anyone to try it. As a next exercise, you have to learn a few pieces this way. It's very helpful, I think.
Yes, definitely it is.
In order to know what works for you and what not.
That's right.
All right. We hope this was helpful, right, Osha?
Yes.
And please keep sending us your questions. We love helping you grow. And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
This blog is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online, where you will find courses for every area of organ playing, including technique, practice, sight reading, repertoire playing, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory and harmony, with hundreds of scores and thousands of exercises. Here is what some of the students are saying.
Hugh writes, "The sight reading course has helped me tremendously. Thank you very much for your SS courses and all your help."
Robert writes, "I found the fingerings, registration ideas and general comments to be excellent."
John writes, "I have found your download very helpful. It was really excellent. I have watched some of your teaching videos, and when I read your instructions, I tried to imagine you are there teaching me. You may feel disappointed that I am 2-3 days behind, but I am a slow learner, and I have committed to taking the time to get it right, as you say. But the other night my wife commented that she had never heard me play such a detailed melody in the left hand so well. My left hand is generally poor."
Robert writes, "It has been a great pleasure in my life of having discovered your courses and material as well as the YouTube work of recordings. You have a calm and pleasant way of teaching."
Ron writes, "Hi Vidas and Osha, thank you guys. What a wonderful response to my email note to you. You've got me right, and I feel you understand my level of playing. Yes, at home and luckily that I have an organ for that reason. I am paying attention to this, and I am going to try this haha no longer secret model. Yes, and I love Cesar Frank too. What is very nice about your blog podcast is that Osha and Vidas are like a Socratic dialogue, and by bouncing things off of each other, so much more information comes out and is expressed. Your comments contain a wealth of information and understanding. I really appreciate this. It is very inspiring and will keep us moving forward.
Would you like to receive the same or even better results that our students are getting? If so, join them at organduo.lt/total-organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to receive free updates of this blog, make sure you do that at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video, how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
This was Vidas.
And Osha from Secrets of Organ Playing.
And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.